The wagering in a field of 10. Number 1 is Shadow Magic, owned by Joan Horn, driven by Burke Lyons. 2, Going National, owned by Tom Kinch, and a driver change to Darren Mauser. 3 is Township Bubba, owned by Dan Ryan, reinsman Dave Hawk. 4, Briggsy, owned by Howard Millington. Rick Dingledine will be aboard. 5 is Illini Express, owned by the Asher Racing Stable, with Mike Wilder in the bike. 6 is Povard, owned by Glenn Preston Eddy and Jody Essig. 7, Clearwater Chip, owned by Cheryl Street with driver Brad Hanners. 8 is Panther Flash, owned by Larry Fullen with Jack Daly. 9, Reason to Shop, owned by Jim Price, Jeff Fout. 10, Propitious Lad, owned by Donald Lee and Robert Vickroy. Rick Heitman will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. Field for tonight's first race is at the gate and moving through the turn. This field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing with a pretty good start. Shadow Magic takes the lead. Going National and Township Bubba. There goes the gray. Illini Express with a rush on the outside. Briggsy is now battling on. As they leave the back stretch and swing around the far turn, Shadow Magic by a length. Illini Express settles down in second. Briggsy third. Late lever Povard to fourth. Going National from out of the second tier, Propitious Lad. Township Bubba drives in there seventh. Clearwater Chip, Panther Flash, and Reason to Shop. They're by the quarter in a snappy 27 and 3/5 racing past the stands. Shadow Magic and Burke Lyons control the front end. Illini Express is in the second, followed by Briggsy in third. Around the paddock turn, Povard is fourth. Next in line, Going National up on the outside, Clearwater Chip. Propitious Lad took the seventh in box. Eighth along the rail, Township Bubba driving up on the outside, Reason to Shop ninth. Panther Flash is the trailer. They're at the half. In 58 and 1, they're out of the turn and down the back stretch. Shadow Magic, Illini Express comes to the outside. Toward the rail, Briggsy is into third. Driving up on the far outside, Povard into the late action. Clearwater Chip, Propitious Lad shook loose. Action galore here as they drive into three quarters. Povard now finding his best ride, gets the lead. Here comes Clearwater Chip and Propitious Lad in 128 and 3. Moving around the far turn, Povard has the top. Clearwater Chip is in the second, Propitious Lad third. Panther Flash on the far outside. Illini Express was empty. They're into the stretch. Under Jody Essig's whip, it's Povard. Alongside Clearwater Chip. Propitious Lad is still trying hard. Panther Flash on the far outside. Povard under the whip is going to get it. Clearwater Chip and Propitious Lad. Here comes the unofficial winner of the first, number 6, Povard. 7-year-old bay gelding by Ideal Society out of Keystone Sustained. Owned in Norwich, Ohio by Glenn Preston Eddy. Trained by Jay Eddy. Well driven by Jody Essig. The mile in 159 and 2. 6, Povard, the unofficial winner. Result of the first now official. Here's the rundown. Shadow Magic was 10th. Going National finished 9th. Third. For those of you marking your Raceway program top down, 10-9-6. CEZ, owned by Phil Baldoff and John Necht, driven by Dave Hawk. 2 is Bad Motor Scooter, owned by Michael Cook with driver Sean Barker. 3, Rich Pick, owned by Dan Kozad, Jack Daly the reinsman. 4, If Only I Could, owned by Sam Coven. Dallas Miller will be aboard. 5, Halloween Night, owned by Bob Kennard with Scott Marr on the bike. 6, San My Agenda, owned by David Cornacchione with Charlie Smith Jr. 7, Downwind Penske, owned by Larry Morgan and the drivers Keith Justice. 8, Tudors Express, owned by Michelle Omer with Darren Melzer. 9, Sandman Scooter, owned by David Weatherby and Jimmy Shelton, driven by Jim Shelton. And number 10 is Oh Gingerbread Man, owned by Gerald Jolliffe. Jim Daly will be in the sulky. Post time in less than 7 minutes. Wishing happy field for tonight's second race is at the gate and moving through the turn. This field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. CEZ on the rail. Rich Pick between horses. Bad Motor Scooter is there. A little bit rough on the outside. The 4 If Only I Could as they move down the back stretch to the turn. CEZ on top by a length. Halloween Night surging up on the outside second. Toward the rail, Bad Motor Scooter third. Rich Pick settles down in fourth out of the second tier. Oh Gingerbread Man to fifth. Followed by If Only I Could in sixth. Ranging up on the outside, Tudor's Express seventh. There by the opening quarter in 28 2/5. Moving further back in the field, San My Agenda is eighth up on the outside. Downwind Penske is racing ninth, and Sandman Scooter is the trailer. Under the finish line the first time, CEZ on the outside gets the lead. CEZ from Halloween Night. No rest though, because the outer tier is quickly formed and moves up on the outside. Led by Rich Pick toward the rail, Bad Motor Scooter. Underway the 10. Oh Gingerbread Man fifth there by the half, and a sharp 57 3/5. They're down the backstretch. Downwind Penske's buried along the rail. If Only I Could is eighth up on the outside. San My Agenda ninth to the middle of the racetrack as they leave the 5/8 and head to 3/4. Still in command, CEZ by a length and a half. Halloween Night is second, 3 parts of a length. Rich Pick and Oh Gingerbread Man wending his way through heavy traffic. Halloween Night is into fifth. San My Agenda's up on the outside. Downwind Penske, Tudor's Express, Bad Motor Scooter. Sandman Scooter 10th on the outside in 1:27 4. Field straightens away. CEZ brings them on home. CEZ on top. Halloween Night waiting for the passing lane. Oh Gingerbread Man. Rich Pick is up on the outside. It's CEZ. Rich Pick is still coming. CEZ, Rich Pick, very tight with the 5 Halloween Night. Third, 4, If Only I Could, was fourth. Here's Dave Hawk. And the 1 CEZ, a 4-year-old bay gelding by Easy Royce out of Rossitoon. Owned by Phil Baldoff of Akron. John Necht of Richfield. Trained by Alex Spence. Driven tonight by Dave Hawk to cover the mile here in 1:58 4. 1 CEZ, the winner. The exact of 1 and 3, $20. The try, $92. 6-1 double, 26.40. Next post is 723. Tap down, CEZ, the winner. Bad Motor Scooter was 10th. Rich Pick finished second. If Only I Could, fourth. Here's a field for the third race. Superfecta wagering 1 Wild Red Reed, owned by Dan and Earl Ader. Kyle Ader drives. 2 Sunbeam Sam, owned by Melody Reed, Alvin and Neil Long with Brad Hanners. 3 Bumpstick, owned by Stephen Sexton, Rainsman Don Cromer. 4 Saguaro Hanover, owned by Lisa Pavia, Stephen Held, and William Hine with Joe Pavia Jr. Here's the 5, Blame It On Me, owned by Sugar Knoll Farm. Dave Hawk in the bike. 6 Big Mile, owned by Eldon Combs and Marianne Combs with Scott Mogan. 7 WJ Rocket, owned by Jennifer Everest, Mike Campbell, and Robert Moorland with Mike Wilder. 8 is Nitro Listen, owned by Tussing Run with Del S. Miller. 9 is Carbo Trap, owned by Michael Fisher and Paul Ungashik. 10 North 9, owned by Richard and Deborah Keaton. Jody Essig is in the sulky. 6 minutes till post. Field for tonight's third race is at the gate and moving through the turn. Field is in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. The 1 Wild Red Reed off strut at the start, and he's far, far back. There goes Blame It On Me to take the lead. Nitro Listen up on the far outside. Carbo Trap, and on the rail comes Sunbeam Sam. They're down the backstretch. Bumpstick drives in there 5th, followed by Saguaro Hanover in 6th, racing 7th, North 9. Big Mile, WJ Rocket, and far back to the 1, Wild Red Reed. We're down to 9 as they sizzle by the opening quarter here in 28 seconds flat, moving past the stands. Up top, it's Nitro Listen and Dallas Miller by about 2 lengths. Next in line, Blame It On Me. Second past the stands, Carbo Trap. And third, Sunbeam Sam. Fourth, here comes Saguaro Hanover up on the outside, and Bumstick will stay in along the rail. North 9 catches live cover. He'll be a factor. Next in line comes Big Mile. After that, WJ Rocket and the 1, Wild Red Reed. They're at the half-mile pole. Nitro Listen, second quarter breather, gets them by there in 59 flat. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Nitro Listen on top. Here's Sunbeam Sam cruising to the front on the outside. Sunbeam Sam now gets the lead. Saguaro Hanover, Sunbeam Sam has jumped off stride. Everybody going to try to clear the breaker. Little bit of confusion on the backstretch as they leave the 5/8 and head to 3/4. They're still trying to clear the breaking 2. Sunbeam Sam moving by 3/4 in 1:28 and 4. Moving around the far turn, Saguaro Hanover's got about a 5-length lead, but he's not home free yet. Under the whip, North 9 is in the second. Driving up on the outside, Carbo Trap to third. Blame It On Me on the far outside, fourth, and Sunbeam Sam. They're into the stretch. Saguaro Hanover keeps to his task. Blame It On Me's got one final bid down the center, but he's not good enough. Saguaro Hanover, Blame It On Me, and Carbo Trap will finish third. Four five exact at 259.80. There's an all in the $1 super. 4-5-9 all 36-36-30. Windows are now put on the fourth. Post time in 14 minutes at 7:42. There are no changes in tonight's early pick 3. Here comes the field for tonight's fourth race, sponsored by Steeplechase Village, affordable luxury family rentals. Number 1 is Rare Score. Owned by Shivik Dunn, Moore and Graber, and the driver is Russell Schwartz. 2, Strikin' Bug, owned by Ruth Carroll, driven by Dan Ader. 3, Summer Cheers, owned by Marianne Koneski and the Redland stable with John Koneski III. 4, ZZ Bop, owned by Terry Kinsley and Cynthia Kinsley with Don Feaster aboard. 5, Wolf Road, owner-driver Harold Breedenbach. Number 6 is CTM.com, owned by J. Bruce Wenger with Harold Dick. And number 7 is HR's Come Over, owned by the Saints Go Racing Stable. Pete Story will be in the sulky. Less than 7 minutes till post time. Field for race 4 is at the gate and moving up. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Strikin' Bug takes the lead. Rare Score is on the rail. CTM.com is in the middle of the racetrack. HR's Come Over is 4 deep on the 4 outside as the 4 ZZ Bop goes off stride. They're down the backstretch of the far turn, and Strikin' Bug has got the lead. Rare Score settles in there second. 7 HR's Come Over is off stride. We're down to 5 as they trot by the quarter. We're back on the front end. Strikin' Bug by a length and a half. Rare Score is in the second by the opening quarter in 29 and 2. Past the stands, they roll to the half-mile pole. Strikin' Bug leads the way. Rare Score second. CTM.com third. Past the stands into fourth, Summer Cheers. Up on the outside, Wolf Road. ZZ Bop and the trailer as HR's Come Over. Around the paddock turn of the half-mile pole. Strikin' Bug continues to lead the way. Strikin' Bug by a length. The favorite is second. Rare Score by a length. Summer Cheers comes to the outside third. Racing fourth, CTM.com. Wolf Road, ZZ Bop and HR's Come Over. They're at the half in 101 and 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Still in command by an easy length and a half, Strikin' Bug. Summer Cheers rolls in the rim second. Rare Score is into third. CTM.com fourth. Wolf Road in fifth. ZZ Bop sixth. At the end, it's HR's Come Over. As they roll by three quarters, Strikin' Bug continues to lead at 1:30-3. They'll trot the turn and come on home. Strikin' Bug, Rare Score, cocked, locked and ready to rock, and Summer Cheers holds him at bay. Ranging up on the far outside, CTM.com. As the field straightens away, it's Strikin' Bug. Rare Score looks for the passing lane. Summer Cheers in the center. CTM.com is up on the far outside, but here comes the one up the passing lane. It's going to be Rare Score, Strikin' Bug, CTM.com third. Result of race 4 now official. Windows are open on race 5. 1-2 exacta 780 and the try 69.40. Next post is in 14 minutes at 8:01. Rare Score was the winner. Strikin' Bug second. Summer Cheers fourth. ZZ Bop was sixth. Wolf Road fifth. CTM.com third. HR's Come Over was seventh. 1-2-4, 6-5-3-7. The mile was 2:01. One has come on Cammy, now solely owned by Jerry Summers, driven by Jack Daly. 2, Dare You Go, owned by Melissa Levan with Mike Wilder. 3, Petewa Creek, owned by Sarah Boyling, Deborah Ricks, and Tony Ann Hayner with Ron Steck. 4, Cammy Light, owned by Kevin Sizer and James Clement, driven by Wade Ross. 5, Radiant Lil, owned by Linda Papp and Mark Winters, driven by Mark Winters. Number 6 is Missy Bogart, owned by James Eric Yellow. Jody Essig will drive. 7, Tin Type, owned by Melby Ober with Rick Dingledime. Number 8 is Zoo, owned by Bob Hastings with Jeff Fout. 9, Discovering Gold, owned by Sugar Knoll Farms with Dave Hawk. 10 is Emma and Emily, owned by Judy Nixon and Norma Boggs. David Myers will be in the sulky. 6 minutes till post time. And the field for tonight's fifth race is at the gate and moving through the paddock turn. Field of 10 is now in behind starter Andy Albert. It is post time. This field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Middle of the racetrack, Radiant Lil takes the lead. Ranging up on the far outside, Missy Bogart's going to flash some gate speed tonight. Petewa Creek is in there third. Late Lever Discovering Gold to fourth. Dare You Go, the favorite, is fifth to 3. Petewa Creek has jumped off stride, left the course inside the passing lane. We're back on the front end. 9 are on gate as they drive to the quarter-mile pole. Out on top, it's Mark Winters and Radiant Lil in a solid 28 1/5. Moving past the stands, up top by 2 lengths. Radiant Lil leads the way. After that, Missy Bogart second. A gap of 5 lengths. Discovering Gold is into third. Dare You Go fourth. Followed by Emma and Emily in fifth. Come on, Cammy, driving up on the outside. Zoo toward the rail. Cammy Light. Around the paddock turn, Tin Type, and at the end, it's the early breaker, Petewa Creek. The 5, Radiant Lil, continues to lead the way. Radiant Lil by a length and a half. They're at the half, and 59. They're out of the turn and down the back stretch. Radiant Lil by a length and a half. Dare You Go starts the action from mid-pack second. Missy Bogart in tight quarters third. After that, it's Discovering Gold in fourth. Emma and Emily charging up on the outside. Middle of the racetrack, Zoo toward the rail. Come on, Cammy. Behind her, Tin Type driving up on the far outside. Cammy Light. And at the end, it's still Petewa Creek. Leaders are heads apart. Dare You Go on the outside, and Radiant Lil along the rail in 128 4. Moving around the far turn, Dare You Go on the outside, tries to clear. Radiant Lil is fighting back. Here comes Missy Bogart off cover. Under Mike Wilder's strong right-handed whip, Dare You Go brings them on home. It's Dare You Go who begins to widen. There you go on top. Radiant Lil doing her best. Discovering Gold. Come on, Cammy. Missy Bogart can't go on. It's going to be There You Go, Discovering Gold, and the 1. Come on, Cammy, third. To Dare You Go, a 4-year-old bay mare by Dare You 2 out of Infringe. Owned by Marysville by Melissa Levan, trained by Herb Levan, driven by Mike Wilder. The mile here 158 and 3 and a lifetime best for 2. Dare You Go, the unofficial winner of the 5th. Rundown of the 5th as follows. Come on, Cammy was 3rd. Dare You Go, the winner. Petewa Creek was 10th. Cammy Light 9th. Radiant Lil 4th. Missy Bogart 5th. Tin Type 8th. Zoo was 7th. Discovering Gold 2nd. Emma and Emily was 6th. 3, 1, 10, 9, 4, 5, 8, 7, 2, and 6. The mile 158 and 3. Post time is at 8:21. Here comes the field for tonight's 6th race, sponsored by Steeplechase Village. 1 KW's champion over the K&W Racing Stable with Jeffrey Kirkbride. 2 Pine Drive Caesar, owned by Leroy Billman, reinsman Mark Winters. 3 Cyrano de Bergerac, owned by Linda Rankin with Dave Rankin. 4 Runyon Avenue, owned by Harold Breedenbach. Harold Dick will be aboard. 5 is Fiery Heart, owned by Richard Householder, driven by Jack Daly. 6 is CSI Roland DeHay, owned by the CSI Farm with Frank Todd Jr. 7 is DS Jack's Fax, owned by Joe Lenning. Dave Hawk will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. This field is in motion. And there they go. They're off and trotting. The 1 is away a step or 2 slow. KW's champion. There goes CSI Roland DeHay on the far outside to get the lead. DS Jack's Fax circles right to him 2nd. Cyrano de Bergerac is in the 3rd. Pine Drive Caesar 4th. Fiery Heart, Runyon Avenue, and the 1 KW's champion. A little bit of tussling going on here as they drive to the quarter-mile pole. DS Jack's Fax on the outside now gets the lead. Followed in 2nd by the older guy in here, the 4-year-old CSI Rowan DeHay, 28 and 2. Sparks are flying past the stands, and here comes Frank Todd Jr. right back out. CSI Rowan DeHay on the outside goes on by DS Jack's Fax to 2nd. Along the rail, Cyrano de Bergerac 3rd, Pine Drive Caesar 4th. Around the paddock turn, Fiery Heart, Runyon Avenue, and KW's champion. They're through the paddock turn and heading to the half-mile pole. CSI Roland DeHay has the lead by a length. Pine Drive Caesar is on the move to 2nd. Opening half in 59 and 3. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Pine Drive Caesar on the outside now sticks his nose, his head, his neck in front. He's trying to clear and does. Pine Drive Caesar goes on. Right now, no match is 6 CSI Rowan DeHay. Cyrano de Bergerac is on the move to 3rd, followed by DS Jack's Fax in 4th. Fiery Heart, Runyon Avenue, and KW's champion, 129 and 3. Moving around the far turn, Pine Drive Caesar a length and a half. The Chestnut moving bully is Cyrano de Bergerac. CSI Rowan DeHay fighting back in the bit 3rd. DS Jack's Fax can't go on. Either can Fiery Heart, Runyon Avenue, nor KW's champion. Inside the final 16th of a mile, it's all Mark Winters and Pine Drive Caesar. CSI Rowan DeHay fighting back 2nd. Cyrano de Bergerac will finish 3rd. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's 6th race, rapidly improving 3-year-old Carry the Message colt. 2 Pine Drive Caesar. Out of the speedy record mare Records Juliet, owned in Ostrander by trainer Leroy Billman. Given another well-judged drive by Mark Winters to cover the mile in 159 and 3, take a lifetime best, and make that 3 in a row for the 2 Pine Drive Caesar, the unofficial winner of tonight's 6th race. Owned by Warren Long, Mike Wilder drives. 2 Cherub's Example, owned by Michael Robinson, Kenneth Brooks, and Don Robinson with Sean McAleese. 3 is Giggle Machine, owned by Jim Stambaugh, Donald Lehman, and Jim Arledge with Del S. Miller. 4 Corky's Mufflerette, owned by Robert Leroy Enterprises with Brad Hanners. 5 is L, owned by Michael Graney, Bill Walters in the bike. 6 RC's Carry, owned by Stan Hathaway with Sean Barker. 7 is Bitter Ribs, owned by Ted Gregory with Kevin Sizer. 8 Noble Joyride, owned by Rex Bodie with Jack Daly. 9 I'm a Makin' Whoopee, owned by Tony Ann Boroff-Hayner with Dave Hawk. 10 Expensive Angel, owned by Bob Sidley. Jamie Dunlap will be in the sulky. 6 minutes until post time. Field for race 7 is at the gate and moving up. This field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Noble Joyride takes the lead. Bitter Ribs, middle of the racetrack. Here comes L and Cherub's Example. The 9, I'm a Makin' Whoopee, is off stride on the far outside. Moving midway on the turn, Giggle Machine is next. Expensive Angel out of the second tier. Corky's Mufflerette is 8th between horses. The 1 April Full had no speed whatsoever. And RC's Carry is the trailer. They're driving by the opening quarter from the outside. Bitter Ribs now takes over in a moderate 28-3. Moving past the stands, Bitter Ribs quickly assumes command, draws off by 3 lengths. Noble Joyride cuts her own mile in second. I'm a Makin' Whoopee settled down after the break. Toward the rail, L is in the 4th. Driving up on the outside, Corky's Mufflerette as they move around the lower turn and head of the half-mile pole. Cherub's Example is now 6th. Giggle Machine 7th on the outside. 8th on the rail, Expensive Angel racing 9th April Full, and at the end it's RC's Carry by the half in 59-1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Bitter Ribs striding along with a half a length advantage. Bitter Ribs continues to lead the way. Here's L driving up on the outside second. Noble Joyride third. I'm a Makin' Whoopee fourth. On the far outside, Corky's Mufflerette. Cherub's Example got stopped on the far outside, Expensive Angel, as they race by 3/4 here in 1:28-3. Moving around the far turn. Bitter Ribs by ahead. L is right alongside. I'm a Makin' Whoopee is third. Driving up on the outside, Corky's Mufflerette. Expensive Angel is looming boldly. 6 wide on the far outside. Giggle Machine, they're into the stretch. L on the outside of Bitter Ribs. Bitter Ribs and L. Giggle Machine on the far outside. In between horses, Corky's Mufflerette. 4 wide here. Who do you like? Far outside, Giggle Machine. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's 7th race, number 3, Giggle Machine. 3-year-old bay filly by Albatross out of Hysterics, owned by Jim Stambaugh. Donald Lehman and Jim Arledge, trained by Jim Arledge Jr. Winning driver Del S. Miller, the mile here, 1:59-1 and a lifetime best. 3, Giggle Machine, the unofficial winner. As the series event continues, sponsored by Steeplechase Village. 1, Traumatros, owned by Marie Gill. Ray Paver drives. 2 is Shiloh Drive, owned by Harold Breedenbach and Richard Lane, and the driver is Harold Dick. 3 is Proxy Power, owned by Pete and Fred Polk, driven by Kevin Sizer. 4, Final Deal, owned by Dwayne and Carol Lowe. Sandy Beatty will be aboard. 5, Am a Wrong Way, owned by Robert Lee Harriott, in the bike Ron Steck. 6, Etched in Sand, owned by John LeGros with Jim Lewis. And 7 is KF Bud, owned by John Bussey, Brad Hanners in the sulky. There is 7 minutes until post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Off strut at the start. That was the 4 final deal. Middle of the racetrack. Emma Wrongway takes the lead. There goes Etchton Sand up on the outside. Traumatros is on the rail into third, racing fourth, Proxy Power. Shiloh Drive, KF Bud, far back off stride, final deal. They circle into the first eighth of a mile, trot to the quarter-mile pole. Emma Wrongway leads the way. Traumatros with a rush on the outside has had enough of the mid-pack journey, circles the takeover command in 30 seconds flat. Moving past the stands, brushing to the front, it's Traumatros, who is the 2-5 favorite. Traumatros leads the way. Emma Wrongway yields to the pocket past the stands. Etchton Sand third. Racing fourth, Proxy Power, followed by Shiloh Drive, KF Bud far back. After that costly early break, final deal. Around the paddock turn of the half-mile pole, Ray Paver and Traumatros continue to lead the way. A little bit closer in second, Emma Wrongway. First up on the outside, Proxy Power. Etchton Sand, Shiloh Drive live cover. KF Bud will have to do more. And final deal. They're off the half in a leisurely 101. Traumatros clings to the lead. Traumatros by about a length. Here's Proxy Power a little bit closer in second. Emma Wrongway skimming the pylons in third. Etchton Sand is now taken back along the rail fourth. Shiloh Drive fifth to the outside. KF Bud in final deal. Racing to three quarters. Traumatros in 131-1 leads the way. Traumatros by a length. Battle right now is for second between Emma Wrongway along the rail. Proxy Power on the outside. Etchton Sand, KF Bud, far outside Shiloh Drive. There's 6 alive in the drive. Ray Paver Jr. brings them on home under confident handling. It's Traumatros who has got the top. Traumatros, Emma Wrongway, and Etchton Sand. Traumatros easily in race 8. Baycoat by final score out of Rosalinda T. Owned in Washington, PA by Marie Gill. Trained by Bill Gill. And tonight's honorary equine maintenance engineer, Kelly Davis. Here comes the field for tonight's 9th race. Number 1, Optimism is Board. Owned by Jim Erlich and John Rhodes Jr. and the driver is Kevin Sizer. 2, Ricky's Flowanelli, owned by George Burkhold, Russ Baldwin, and Ernie Slane with Joe Pavia Jr. Number 3, Cinder Lane James, owned by James Finney with Dave Hawk. 4 is RW's Out of Towner, owned by Dirk Steinman with Sandy Beatty. 5, Tucson Fun Time, owned by Gary Reynolds. Dan Reynolds will be in the bike. 6, Cohen My Bluff, owned by Chad Linkhouse. Driver change, Charles Smith Jr. 7, Willie Ernalot, owned by Lowell Prickett with Terry Groves. 8 is A-Bomb, owned by Chuck Grubbs, Brad Hanners. 9, Sharp Steve, owned by John Nelson Perrin. Elliott Deaton will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post. Field is in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Optimism is Board takes the lead. Cohen My Bluff Toward the rail, Ricky's Flow and Alley, followed out by Cinder Lane James. Willie Ernalot is now 3 deep on the far outside, followed by RW's Out of Towner, Tucson Fun Time, Sharp Steve, and the A-Bomb as they battle for the lead into the quarter-mile pole. Driving up on the outside, now coming out with a quick rush to take over command. It's A-Bomb by the opening quarter here in 29 seconds flat. Moving past the stands to the top turn by an easy length and a half. A-Bomb has got the lead. A-Bomb shows the way. Optimism is board is in the second. Past the stands, Ricky's Flow and Alley third. Cinder Lane James fourth. RW's Out of Towner fifth. Tucson Fun Time up on the outside. As they move around the paddock turn, head of the half-mile pole, Sharp Steve is next. Cohen My Bluff is up on the outside. Toward the rail, Willie Ernalot, reaching the half-mile pole in 59-1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. A-Bomb leads the way. A-Bomb a length and a half. Optimism is board second. RW's Out of Towner first up third. Tucson Fun Time live cover fourth. Ricky's Flow and Alley fifth. Underway, Sharp Steve with live cover. Cinder Lane James. Willie Ernalot off stride. Cohen My Bluff. We're down to 8. In fact, they're hub to hub as they side wheel by 3/4 in 1:28-2. Driving around the far turn, RW's Out of Towner on the outside now gets the lead. A-Bomb is fighting back into second. Waiting for the passing lane and now heading toward it again is Tucson Fun Time as they fan out 3 wide on the drive to the wire. It's A-Bomb, Tucson Fun Time up the passing lane, and RW's Out of Towner. Deep stretch, it's going to be A-Bomb, Tucson Fun Time, and RW's Out of Towner third. Here comes the unofficial winner of the 9th, number 8, A-Bomb, a 5-year-old bag gelding by No Nukes out of Stylish Tiffy. Owned and trained in Grove City by Big Chuck Grubbs. Driven tonight wire to wire by Brad Hanners. The mile here in 1:57-1. Number 8, A-Bomb, the unofficial winner of tonight's 9th race. $8-5 exact to 53.40 or fight. Trifecta 8-5 and 4, $361 even. Here comes the field for tonight's 10th and final race as Kathy Hawk brings them out. Number 1 is Can Change Destiny, owned by Gerald Meyer and Joseph Porter with Al Jones. 2, Baker's Legacy, now owned by the Grumpy Old Men Stable with Jim Daly. 3, Roughhouse, owned by Enlo Atkinson. The reinsman is Rick Dingledine. 4, TDF Basket, owned by James Pointer with Kevin Sizer aboard. 5 is Chip Champ, owned by Bill Woodall, Dave Hawk on the bike. 6, Dazzler Nuke, owned by David Setzer with Elliot Deaton. 7, Short Cousin, owned by Bill Carruthers with Brad Hanners. Number 8, Long Gone Destiny, owned by Gene Humphrey with Ty Van Roden. 9 is Icy Torch, owned by Bill Torch with Mike Welner. 10, Roman Stoic, owned by Mark Laffin, Darren Mauser in the sulky. 7 minutes till post. Final race pacers are at the gate. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Baker's Legacy takes the lead. Chip Champ is up on the far outside. TDF Baskin between horses. There goes Dazzler Nuke from 4th. Far outside, Short Cousin out of the second tier. Roman Stoic on the rail, Can Change Destiny. Icy Torch is into 8th. Roughhausen is 9th. Long Gone Destiny is 10th on the outside. Side wheeling to the quarter-mile pole. Dazzler Nuke takes over from Chip Champ. He's coming right back to him, though. By the opening quarter in a solid 28 2/5. Moving past the stands, they're 2 deep. Chip Champ, the 6-5 favorite, has got the top. Chip Champ from the early pace setter, Dazzler Nuke, followed by Baker's Legacy in 3rd. TDF Baskin 4th. Can Change Destiny 5th. Short Cousin starts the train. Icy Torch in the back of the pack. Roughhausen is underway. Roman Stoic got quickly shuffled back to 9th. Long Gone Destiny is 10th on the outside. Virtually hub to hub at the half-mile pole. Chip Champ in the Hawkster lead in 101. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Chip Champ continues to lead the way. Dazzler Nuke is second by a head. Short Cousin uncovered third. Icy Torch is into the flow. Nowhere to go for the Deuce. Baker's Legacy. Also stuck in mild traffic. TDF Baskin driving up on the outside. Roughhausen 7th. Long Gone Destiny in 8th. Roman Stoic 9th on the outside. The one is last Can't Change Destiny in 1:30, 1-3 around the far turn. Chip Champ continues to lead the way. Dazzler Nuke in second. Short Cousin third. Baker's Legacy dying to get out. Little more than an eighth of a mile to drive. Chip Champ continues to lead the way. Chip Champ by a widening 5. Dazzler Nuke. Baker's Legacy, the pylons. Here comes TDF Baskin, deep stretch. It's going to be Chip Champ, Dazzler Nuke, TDF Baskin, and Baker's Legacy. And 2, Baker's Legacy. Here's Dave Hawk in 5. Chip Champ, 6-year-old bay gelding by Brave Leader out of Cheerful Brett. Owned in Wilmington by Bill Woodall. Trained by Darrell Hooser. Driven by Dave Hawk, the mile 2:01. 5, Chip Champ, the winner of tonight's 10th race. The 5-6 exactly returning $42.20. Superfecta 628.20. 3 out of 3 in the pick 3, 105.60. Winning numbers in the pick 3, 1, 8, and 5.